Hello YouTube, this is part 2 of my new player guide, Black Desert Online 2023. In this video we're going to talk about the classes in the game and what I think about each one to give you a rough idea about what you should expect. Now you can go to this website, BDO EU Classes, Google it and it will show you this page. This is a very nice page to see the classes because you have a nice videos posted for both the Awakening, which is one style of combat with the weapon, and the Succession, which is the other style of combat for each class. Each class has two combat styles to play where they use different weapons and different abilities. So for some of the classes, whatever you choose to play as, it changes their style. For example, from melee they can become mid-range or range, but you will see in the upcoming in this video. So the warrior is something that I played for a long time. I love this class because I love the feeling of having that two-handed sword and smashing my opponents with it. However, I think for PvE purposes I will stick to the Berserker and even try to learn him as much as I can for PvP, simply because I feel like right now, because the warrior is one of the older classes in the game, it hasn't received much love from the developers, and as such I believe that the damage the warrior deals is way lower than what other classes can dish out, and this is just not fair, where I have to put in more effort and more skill just to be able to kill someone, where maybe with the Berserker I would kill him in one combo, with the warrior I have to kill him in two, and if I give him the chance to get up, he may kill me, he may have the chance to kill me before I beat him the second time. With that being said, the warrior is a very nice class for beginner players. I would say when it comes to PvP, if you're like crazy about PvP, it does have a very high skilling to it, high skill floor, but it also has a very medium, okay path of learning, should I say, to it. Like, it's not that complicated of a class to play. You also have a grab, which is great. You can find other guides about the combo system in the game. There are plenty of people who did it. I'm not going to explain it, but basically grab can go through the super armor of any class. It's very nice, the class. You can check the video out yourself. I'm just going to talk about them. Ranger, unfortunately, I've never played it and I've only battled a few. I think it requires a very high skill to play, and it's much harder to play than other classes in my opinion, but hey, if you like the class and you will get along with it, then go for it. As you can see, the Awakening has like two swords and will have a melee combat style, while is the Succession, she will use her bow from the main weapon, and this is where she is ranged and extremely annoying to deal with even as a warrior in PvP, because if she has enough attack power, you will be able, she will break your forward guard in like 3 skills and then just kill you. What she can do with her range, what a lot of people do, is she can shoot towards you, but also she goes backwards while doing it. Meaning that when I go forward into her, she shoots and goes backwards at the same time. So she's dealing damage as she's retreating from a range distance to me. This is extremely annoying to deal with as a melee player like myself. Sorceress is an assassin class, I guess. Awakening has a scythe, which is very nice looking. Melee, it's not really range, to be honest. So it's a melee combat style, but I guess you could say she has maybe some mid-range skills as well. I tried to play the class, but I couldn't really get into it. Very hard to play because she has a very specific style, where it's one of the few classes where she can spam iframes with her jump until her stamina runs out. But I think it's a more difficult class to play and learn than others. For PvP, I mean. I think in PvE, if you learn a little bit, her Awakening is quite nice, depending on the spot that you're farming in. Succession, I'm not sure, I don't know much about it. I just know that you can do a lot of combos, resets with it if you're extremely good at it. I don't know much what I can say about the class other than if you like it, play it and learn it. And I would say that I think Sorceress does not have the mobility in PvE as other classes. So a lot of the classes will have mobility. Warrior has mobility. I can show you what I mean by that. Okay, let's go on my Warrior. But some classes will have more mobility than others, which means that in certain spots where you will one-shot, and I mean this for new players, I think after the season when you're full pen, you can go grind centaurs with Agris and level 2 loot scroll, or level 1 depending, and you'll make a lot of silver gains there. As a new player, you do not need a lot of gear to farm here, but the problem is you need mobility, and Sorceress is just not that class for this, you know. So look at my Warrior. I have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 different mobilities. So I run forward, shield charge, solar flare, another charge, and now I can just, this consumes my stamina, but I'm just showing you how much of a distance, and now this is off cooldown, I can do it again, how much mobility I have on this, and the mobility on Sorceress is just different. Berserker is a melee class. This is what I reroll to from Warrior, because it has a lot of damage and a lot of mobility. The Awakening is very nice. The Iron Buster, you kind of look like Iron Man here. However, it has an extremely high skilling floor when it comes to PvP, because it is not as protected as other classes. Succession, he uses the 2 axes, but the problem with this is that you only have a few skills to use, right? So I'm going to show you this as well. You basically use like 5 to 6 skills maximum, and for some people, if maybe even for PvE, it might get boring for you to just use the same skills over and over again, whereas other classes may have a little bit more skills that you combine and do a combo with, even in PvE. So it depends on you whether you like this kind of stuff or not, right? This is my Optimus Prime colors. So for example, if we are at Centaurs, I have 2 charges, right? Lava Piercer, like mobility skills, another one, and what I do is I only use, for example, 1 skill to one-shot them, which is Prime Beastly Wind Slash, right? So if you go here, look, I one-shot, and then I run to the next spec, jump, use this is on cooldown, so I cannot use it anymore, so I do like this, okay, and then I charge again, and right mouse button, you know, this is all you can do to one-shot them, well, mainly one-shot them, and then you wait for your cooldowns to come back up, and you use your mobility again. So this has a lot of mobility versus other things. However, I am not as protected. Why? Because look, this is the only protection I have is for the mobility, which I don't do damage with. This is 1 skill to do damage, but I'm locked into an animation, and then the jump, and that's kind of it. The rest are like forward guards, so not a lot of protections when it comes to Succession. You have to play it very well and know how to rotate your skills to not get CC'd in PvP. Very strong class. It can actually stay in a super armor rotation if you wait a little bit for your cooldowns, right? Because you can do this, you can jump, you have the other one, and then you wait for the first one to come off cooldown, which is now, and you do it again. See? But you have to be very careful. You have to manage your cooldown so you're always protected, and you wait for an opportunity to grab. This class has like 3 grabs. But this might be very boring for other people. So low APM, but I will play Awakening in PvP anyway. So this is what I mean by different types of mobility. Now let's get on to the next class, Tamer. I don't know much about the class. I think it's a harder class to play. Very assassin-like style class. I think it's good in 1 versus 1, and that's it, to be honest. You have to be extremely good at it to do something with it. And I don't like the animations that the class has with their weapons. So yeah, that's my take on Tamer, sorry. Musa, a very good class to play as well. It has a lot of, I mean, it has mobility because he basically dashes until he runs out of stamina with right click, right? So you have to manage that. He's like your typical samurai. The Awakening has a very nice Christian blade with a lot of spins around, so a lot of AoE with the Awakening kit. And the Succession also has AoE, but it also has, the Succession is not as protected as Awakening is. So Succession may be more for PvE, but Awakening is also nice. This is a pretty balanced class when it comes to their two combat styles. The difference is that Awakening is better for PvP. Maehwa is the Musa's counterpart. Again, Succession, Awakening, she has a spear, and her attacks when she uses the spear are more in a frontal cone oriented. So it doesn't have the AoE of the Musa, but it does have, I think, more damage and can do different stuff when it comes to her Awakening. I can't tell you more except that she has like this ice looking scales on her. Her Succession is very similar to Musa, but also different at the same time because they do have two free skills that changes the playstyle of the class when it comes to PvP. So yeah. Valkyrie is one of the tankiest classes in the game and very, very good. And her Awakening has her Lancia and her shield. Extremely tanky class, very, very good. I don't think it's that complicated to learn, and it's useful in every scenario. Succession, I don't know much about her Succession, to be honest. I haven't fought with a lot of Succession Valkyries, her longsword and shield. I don't know what to say about it. You know, she does have some AoE heals as well for the party and some buffs. But I don't know what to say. It's more durable, very tanky. What I don't like about the warrior, for example, is that it is not as tanky as other quote-unquote tank classes. So this is why I'm actually re-rolling from the warrior a little bit, because there are other classes that I'm supposed to be as tanky as them, but I'm not. So yeah. Kunoichi and Ninja are the assassin type classes. Unfortunately, I'm going to skip a bit the Kunoichi because I don't know much about it. It's very similar to Ninja, I guess, but her Awakening is different than the Ninja. Ninja, a very high APM class to play. So his Awakening has these swords around with him, and you deal a lot of damage in PvP as well. In PvE, I'm not sure about how good it is. Unfortunately, I haven't checked the Ninja Discord to see what people are saying. It is a very nice class to play, to be honest. A lot of dashes. In PvP, you need to know how to turn your camera around. Extremely good in 1 versus 1 because you can go invisible and you can basically teleport to the back of an opponent and grab him. It has a grab. You grab him and he should die from your combo. And there's little that they can do when it comes to the ninja grab here. So one of the best 1 versus 1 classes if you use his full kit. Succession as well, I think it's very good. I think more people use Succession in PvE because I think it does a little bit more damage and a little less APM than Awakening. But I don't know much to say about it. It looks very cool, but yeah. Wizard is one of the mage classes of the game. It uses fire and water magic when it comes to his Awakening. It's a mid-range skill, but mid-range class when it comes to Awakening, but it has a lot of AoE when it comes to his Awakening. I think everything he does in Awakening is AoE almost. His Succession has more range to his skills, and it's more like kind of like a 1 versus 1 oriented, or maybe good in siege battles. It has a lot of very good buff, AoE good buff for your teammates. Increases their defense a lot, but it has a long cooldown. Also, it's one of the few classes that has AoE heal for your party members as well, and another heal for himself. The Witch is very similar to Wizard on Succession, however on Awakening they differ a lot because her Awakening she uses lightning magic, and I forget the other one. Lightning and Earth, yeah, it says here. Lightning and Earth. I think Witch is a little bit better than Wizard because she has more accuracy on her skills, from what I understand from the people playing Witch. Her succession, I think it's extremely similar to Wizards. I don't think there are like big differences when it comes to their succession. It's almost the same. They might have like two skills that differ from one another. But her Awakening is also pretty good and a lot of accuracy. Mystic is one of your martial art classes, extremely durable, very tanky, has a lot of crowd control, so a lot of people build her a little bit more defensive and just go to be a crowd control bot. Very annoying, a lot of combos when it comes to her succession, because you can see, for example, in the Arena of Solaire, which is a equal gear type matchup at around 250 AP, if you look at the rankings, the number 2 here is a succession mystic, so this should tell you how good the class is. You know, actually, if you want to play the most meta classes ever, you can look here about who it is in the first places, who has the highest rating, and you will see, you know. Yeah, her Awakening, I haven't played Awakening that much on her, and I haven't seen people using her Awakening that much. But she has this Dragon Sea Serpent that comes out from time to time, very nice. Also a lot of CC. Her succession, I think, is very similar to Striker, but I think she has even more down smashes than Striker, to be honest. Striker is your typical Goku martial art class, very strong, very durable evasion class, extremely difficult to deal with as a melee character against it, and it has a super armor rotation, same as Mystic. They can stay protected all the time almost, very few gaps. Unless you have a grab, it's very difficult to deal with them. Or maybe you have so much damage that you'll just kill them in their super armor. Succession is, so his Awakening has some clones that they spawn when you deal damage, and they also deal some damage. This is why Awakening Striker does a lot of damage to people, because your clones also deal damage. His succession is pretty typical martial arts style, using his more his hands but also his feet in a combo like fashion, and it's very fun to play. I did play Succession Striker, but I don't know, at some point I got bored of it. I might play it later when I have gear, who knows. Lahn is something I don't know what to tell you about. She's actually pretty strong in PvE because she has a lot of mobility, and in PvP I think Awakening has also a range grab, which is extremely good versus mage classes, range classes, so I think this is kind of like the counter for wizards and witches, to be honest. A player who knows what they're doing will kill a wizard or a witch every single time, because the only thing you have to do is wait for your grab and then use your mid-range grab to grab them and kill them in a combo. Archer is one of the few classes that doesn't have succession, it only has Awakening with his bow. However, they buffed the class recently and it deals a shit ton of damage. This is basically a pure glass cannon class. You throw nuclear bombs from a big distance, but if you get caught, you are dead. There is no such thing as a defensive archer. This class doesn't have any kind of defensive passives. You're like the glass cannon in a siege war. You stay somewhere where you can shoot your arrows and you just blow people up. A very difficult class to play as well, I think, because you need to know how to do the slides, how to go from one skill to the other in a very flow-like fashion. So it's a more difficult class to learn how to play, I think, in PvP. And in PvE, again, a higher APM than other classes. You can Google actually search on YouTube Hexe Archer grind, and you will find the guy who is crazy on Archer there, man. He is crazy. The Dark Knight is a assassin class, very annoying to deal with for melee people. So her Awakening is a mid-range type of class, because she has these swords around her and she basically throws the swords at you, and she can also has a lot of dashes away and some iframes, protected dashes, so very hard to get to her. She can run very easily from you, and she also deals damage from a distance. Her succession makes her melee with her sword, but also she's an assassin because she has a lot of dashes that are iframe, and she can catch you in those dashes without you realizing it, and just CC you and deal a lot of damage to you. I think not the worst is a streamer, and he plays Dark Knight for a living, so you know you can go check him out. Shai is one of they wanted to make it like the support class of the game, which they did. You need to understand that this class, her awakening weapon, is not viable on the marketplace. You have to do it yourself. The higher your awakening weapon is, the more your buffs are gonna be more powerful for your party and for yourself. However, this doesn't mean that this class cannot grind in PvE. On the contrary, because she has a certain skill set where she throws her boomerang type and it goes around the mobs in their backs, she also does back attack damage at the same time, so she's actually stronger than you might think. But yeah, she's a support class, extremely looked out for when people grind certain areas in a party. She's also wanted in obviously any kind of node war or siege for PvP. Her buffs are extremely powerful, and also of course she has some AoE healing for the party, for herself. One of the best support class in the game. Guardian is another tanky class, especially on her succession. Her awakening, she has the Jordan and has a lot of AoE with this weapon, and her succession, she's kind of like the Viking style battle axe and shield. Her succession, I know she has a big AoE slow, which slows you by a lot, and you basically, if you try to fight her like that, you're gonna die. Very interesting class to play, or can I say very impactful. I think she got buffed recently. Yeah, try her out if it's your type of class. Hashashin is one of the assassin classes. I don't understand this class at all. It's very powerful. I like the awakening, how it looks with the dual glaives like Darth Maul, but it's a very fast class. Awakening has a mid-range grab as well, so extremely powerful to deal with other classes with this. His succession, I think people use succession more for PvE, but again, I also have battled someone who only plays succession, and as a warrior, for me, it's very difficult, to be honest, to deal with this class because of its tornadoes. So, annoying class to deal with overall. Haven't played it myself, although I tried. Nova is one of the other tanky classes, especially on her succession. So basically, her succession, she has her Morning Star and Core Atom, a big ass shield. She deals, she has some soldiers that summon around her, and when you try to deal damage to her, the soldiers just kind of stab you, and if they like hit you once, you get stunned, which is extremely powerful and annoying in PvP. Yeah, so her succession is super tanky, one of the most tankier classes in the game. And her awakening is extremely different. She becomes this super bursty melee class with her sting, which is kind of her weapon, a little sword. And she has a lot of dashes, and she moves so fast sometimes that you don't see her coming until it's too late, to be honest. Yeah. What else? The Sage is your typical Thor class. It has the awakening. Look at this, the Kibelius weapon, the spear, lightning spear. This is one of the, I think, Chad classes in the game. Man, he looks extremely powerful. His awakening has a mid-range grab as well, so extremely powerful, a lot of AoEs. His awakening is a bit faster, and I think it's more recommended to do PvP with awakening. However, his succession is not really my style, to be honest. He kind of summons this dimension magic around where stuff come out of the portals and do damage. For me, this isn't my style, but it has a shit ton of damage into it, and he is annoying to deal with when he kind of like, his movements are like he goes into a portal, disappears, and comes out into another direction. So this is very annoying to deal with. Corsair is kind of a strong class as well. I'm not sure how good she is in PvE. Her awakening, she literally has a ranged weapon like that she shoots you out of, and you know, since she's ranged, it's extremely annoying to deal with her as a melee character. She can go around you a lot with like this water string that she puts in the ground, and then she kind of goes around it. Very annoying class. Her succession is especially useful when it comes to being annoying and doing CC and surviving, because she has a lot of iframes and super armor and dashes protected, and she regens her HP a lot. So yeah, Drakania is one of the newer classes, and she's extremely powerful. Her awakening is what most people go for when it comes to PvE farm and also even PvP damage. Extremely durable as well. She literally has dragon wings that she flies with, so you'll probably be attracted to that. Check out her trailer class on YouTube. Succession is, I think, more durable than her awakening. Her awakening is more fast, so she has more fast attacks. She moves faster on awakening with 2 spears in 2 hands, and then she switches to like this shield and 1 spear. But her succession is just a defensive, durable class where when she hits you with her Slayer sword, she deals a shit ton of damage. And also she breaks block easier than other classes from what I remember. Woosa and Maegu are the most recent class released. I never touched these classes at all because they're just not for me. However, they are extremely powerful right now because obviously any new class introduced into a game will be more powerful. And so, you know, you want something that's for sure very strong, you can go with this if you don't care how you look or how your skills look. I don't know much about them. What I can tell you is that I fought a Maegu, and Maegus are very annoying with her succession skills because they have this she kind of has this flower class to it. Like her skills are like she literally throws thousands of flower petals towards you in her succession and does a shit ton of damage. She recently got nerfed because she was way too OP. But I think in PvE, her succession is still one of the best damage dealing classes. However, she is squishy, obviously. And I know on her succession, she has a clone that she can switch places with. And this is very annoying in PvP because you don't know when she does the switch. You know? So extremely, extremely annoying. Awakening, it just came out. I think people are still trying to figure it out. But as you can see, her succession was ranged, but now her awakening is melee. So this really changes the style of the class. Other than that, this is the end of the classes. If you have any questions, let me know. I try to make this as short as possible, but sometimes with all these classes it's impossible. I hope you will like the game, and see you in Black Desert Online.